Hey guys, insert number 5, last one of the week, 2 Nephi 19. Now we're doing this as a whole book. So this is Isaiah speaking messianically. So this is him bearing testimony of Christ, talking about the Messiah, and how it's going to work, gives them some of the beautiful names and describes them. So really quite lovely. Again, is that when I talked about in the last one, about the people that walked in darkness have seen a great light. So we've walked through all the hard and the ugly, and we see the great light of Christ. And we will have that light shined on us. Verse 3, thou hast multiplied the nation and increased the joy. So we have that joy. And at verse 4, thou hast broken the yoke of his burden and the staff of his shoulder, the rod of his oppressor. So he comes and takes away those oppressive things on us, and we think, oh, they might still be there, but he continually works against it. And again, it's perspective. And often we'll have something happen and be like, oh, that was really hard. And you're like, yeah, but it could have been worse. So he keeps away that worst thing. Really good. And verse 6 is just gives so many wonderful names. This is, again, looking for Christ. You're studying through Isaiah, look for Christ. This is a great chapter to do that in. Verse 6 says, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. And it goes on to talk about the increase of government and peace and the throne of David and how that works. And it goes through all 21 chapters and talks about how he works and what he does. And that in 21, Manasseh, Ephraim, and Ephraim, Manasseh, they together shall be against Judah. For all this, his anger will not be turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. And that the political unrest will continue today. And it does, right? Those exact people, those exact groups of people who are relatives to each other, who are bordering countries, are against each other, but it doesn't matter. He will never abandon you. His hand is reached out still. Now, chapter 20 goes on to talk about the whole Assyria thing, goes back into the political unrest, which is a little bit covered this week in chapter 16, 17, which we didn't cover. But again, I encourage you to go look at that, and again, look for context of the time, but it also applies a whole lot here in our day. But let's just look at why 19. What's in here? So in all the ugly and hard, what is your light? Mine's Christ. I've got to look for that, because this doesn't just pop up. I've got to go searching for it. Again, I choose to live after the manner of happiness. It doesn't mean that I'm happy every day. In fact, last night I was having a cry. Nothing huge, just life. But yeah, it's interesting. But I choose. Well, that's my light. So Isaiah saw ugly and hard in his time in Nephi's, Paul's, ours, all dispensations. He saw the hard times, the ugly and the hard. But those people who choose to will see a great light. And they will know him for all his names. And verse 6 gives some examples. Now we have a whole lot more, but those are some really, really good ones. Like, if that was it, that would be great for me. And yet there's more. He offers even more than that. He's also our friend. He's also our advocate. He's also I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So grateful. But though wars, political unrest, and many other hard oppressions exist, the Lord is with us through all of it. His hand is stretched out still. So how has Jesus shown up in these example roles from verse 6? So have a look again at verse 6. What do we got? So he shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. So how has he shown up in those roles for you? Definitely the Prince of Peace for me. He's brought a lot of peace into my life, where just teaching me how to see things in a better way so that it's more peaceful, helping me to be calmer so that the outside things don't rattle me as much, like nearly as much. He's definitely wonderful. Counselor is a big one for me, because I could talk to him about anything. And I had to learn to do that. As I said earlier, I still hold back from probably knowing him for many, many years. I was like, yeah, you're there, I know, but you honestly can go to him with anything. And it's pretty cool that you get to do that. Yeah. The Everlasting Father. Doesn't mean like a dad. It just means the everlasting creator, the everlasting, like, again, the I am. He is all of those things. Everything that you need him to be, he is. So it's just lovely. Like, what has he shown up for you in those ways? And what name of his do you like the most? I think Prince of Peace is one of my favorites. I like that. But there's so many things that he is to me, and writing out the names of Christ, you'll come to anything like 40 to 60 plus different names, and he will be each one of those things. So again, this chapter is great for looking for Christ in it as you read Isaiah. And I hope that you really embrace this week. There's some really good things in there. The Come Follow Me manual, fantastic. I've got it printed out on paper because we still don't have our actual manuals. Thanks, church people. That would be great. We're about to head into March. It would be nice to have the manual before January, but never mind, we will work with it. Know that they're doing their best just like we are. Anywho, there you go. That's this week. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you again next week, or I might take the week off. I'm not decided yet, being that it is a holiday. Anyway, stay safe out there. Love you. Thanks for joining me. Bye.